Well, I sure as hell didn't plan on making a football video today. Um, I feel that there's a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to put in perspective based on what happened to or with, wherever however you want to look at it, to Damar Hamlin last night. And talking things out, I feel is helpful, and looking at as many things from as many perspectives when the situation first happens. Um, First and foremost, the only thing that matters right now is Damar Hamlin. With that being said, talking about things beyond that, you know, isn't necessarily as bad as what Skip Bayless is getting crucified for right now. But we'll get to that in a little bit because y'all know I have not much love for Skip Bayless, but I feel he's being treated a bit unfairly here. But anyway, um, look, I'm a fan of football, of NFL football, and it goes without saying that it is probably one of my biggest passions beyond my family. It is probably the biggest, like, I'm trying to think, other than my physical health that I take pride in, it is the biggest passion in my life besides my family. I love it. I live for Sundays, or in this case, Monday nights. Um, but to see what happens and to be a fan and something that was just something that could happen at well, I mean, you want to say like, oh, this could happen at any second of a game and whatnot. And it's all true. But what happened last night was something that was just very routine. It wasn't like, it was a freak accident. He was, running, he tripped, landed on his neck awkwardly, or got blindside tackle as a cheap shot, like something like that. It was just a straight on tackle that didn't look that bad at first. And he stands up and basically cardiac arrests in the middle of the field. And this is what I want to stress on. And people deserve to be thrown on the carpet for this. When you have a cardiac arrest, that means your heart stops beating. You are literally dead. You may not be declared deceased yet because there is still time to bring you back to life, which is what happened. They were giving him CPR in the middle of the field. You don't do that unless someone's heart is physically not beating. So this guy is literally getting CPR in front of his teammates and the players on the other side of the ball. Okay, this happens at 8:55 p.m. The game is canceled at 10:05. It was either 10:01 or 10:05, 10 o'clock. It takes over an hour for the NFL to come to the conclusion that this game is not going to be continued tonight. How can it possibly take over an hour to say to the people that just watched one of the guys in the game getting life-saving CPR administered to him that this game is not going to continue? It takes over an hour to come to that conclusion? Now, I want to say that it wasn't all just a money decision, because those of you that were watching the game as well as I saw that broadcast and saw 2 minutes talking, 6 minutes of commercials, 2 minutes of talking, 6 minutes of commercials, or 3 minutes of commercials, whatever it was. It's like they were saying, like, oh, we got to hold off on the official postponing of the game because we can come back and have as many commercial breaks as possible and try and make as much money because we know a lot of people are tuning in right now to find out what's going on. As a fan, something like that disgusts me. And I know executives in the NFL could be, well, we didn't know the severity of the issue. Oh, stop! It could have been confirmed within a minute that people were giving him CPR. It could have been confirmed by paramedics immediately. You don't give CPR to people unless they don't have a heartbeat. Oh, I would have loved to see what would have happened if they tried to say, you got to continue this game tonight. Again, it's a shame that I'm even talking about this because I should be talking about nothing other than Hamlin's health right now. Damar Hamlin and his health are the only thing that matter, but there's just so many things that are sticking out that I'm just like, what is this going on for? Why isn't common sense ruling the day of what the hell should have been done the instant this went down? Like me, the fan, I posted something on YouTube saying, on the community tab saying, like, this game has to be canceled. Are they insane? What are they pondering? There's nothing to ponder. This game has to be canceled immediately. And like what? Like the executives in the NFL don't have the same ability to watch what I saw? The guy literally made a tackle, stood up, and cadavered. You guys can go ahead and play tonight, right? Just, take a minute to collect yourself. You guys can play tonight, right? See, as a fan of the game, something like this just it just makes me say like damn, man. This ain't what I want to see. And you just know that someone in the NFL, from Roger to any of his buddies, are saying like, oh, please let there be something fluky attached to this. Please let it be some sort of genetic heart defect that was never detected. Something that just, makes it say that, a standard tackle in football can't result in a critical life-altering injury. Like, man, this guy is never going to play football again. And that is the most optimist outcome for this situation. He's still in critical condition. Like, honestly, if Damar Hamlin pulls through, like, who knows how much brain damage was suffered from a lack of oxygen and heartbeat going to his brain. Like, this stuff breaks my heart because this is not why I became a fan of the game. Why I support the game, why we've made hundreds of videos about the game. Man. Now, as to what Skip Bayless said, and so many players and professional pundits are calling for his immediate termination. I'll paraphrase what he said. He said, the NFL is planning on suspending this game, but how can you? The magnitude of this game and the playoff implications and doing it this late in the season, how can you? And then he ends his tweet with, but all of that is seemingly irrelevant now. Now, what Skip Bayless is saying was all true. It's all true. You may say, well, that's poor timing. We don't need to be talking about anything like playoff implications right now till we know what is going on with Damar Hamlin's life. Okay, I understand the people that are upset with that, but people are making it sound like he showed absolutely no compassion to the situation. Again, I hate Skip Bayless as much as the next guy, but man, you guys are really shoveling too much dirt on his grave that doesn't need to really be shoveled at all. He literally says in the end of his tweet, it literally says that all of this is irrelevant now. Like he's basically saying any thoughts of playoff implication and continuing this game and making up this game, anything along those lines, it's all irrelevant. Because a human life is greater than this game. But at the end of the day, you, as far as I know, that money is going to win. It was going to win out. Unless there is some sort of just standing up of saying, like, we don't feel like playing this game right now, and the players come together. And I have no problem with that. They're the guys taken to the field. They're the brotherhood most affected by this. And if people are offended and say, suck it up, you guys get paid millions of dollars, take to the field. Nah, man, you ain't on the field. It ain't your call to make. It ain't your call to throw shade on people and tell them they have to suck it up, play the game, entertain me. Shut your punk ass up. You're a little bitch fan that watches the game. I'm a little bitch fan that watches the game. I'm not going to sit here and tell those guys they have to suit up to play, suck it up. But you know as well as I do, executives in the NFL are going to push that players' union to continue playing. And I'll be honest, one of the things I thought about last night as I was like, man, it's going to be a little piss poor if Buffalo doesn't win the Super Bowl this year. And that's not just saying because I predicted Bills versus Cowboys. Yes, I predicted the Cowboys to make it to the Super Bowl. Do you believe that, people? You can even go back to my week 2 prediction if you think I'm just throwing that out there now. My preseason prediction was the Bills versus the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. And how apropos would it be on multiple levels if that's what the Super Bowl matchup ends up being after how many times the Bills choked against the Cowboys. If they end up winning the Super Bowl this year. Like, yeah, that thought crossed my mind last night. Am I an asshole for thinking about that? For thinking anything that wasn't Damar Hamlin's health? But trust me, Damar Hamlin's health and well-being and his being to even exist. Because I'm like, I have a feeling we're going to hear, like, at any moment that Damar Hamlin's dead. Like, I honestly thought that's what we are going to hear happen. Because it took him a full 40 minutes just to get him out of the stadium because they wanted to just stabilize his life as much as possible before they got him to a level 1 trauma center in Cincinnati. Man. That's the thing that... I don't know if you want to use the word shocking, but it's just like... You saw the play and it's like, oh, wow, what happened? Like, did he get a stinger? Like, it just seemed like just such a routine play. And that's what's the most scary thing about it. And that's what's the most sobering thing that you put in the back of your mind. And again, them as football players, I'm sure they all have the understanding that injuries are a part of the game, including freak injuries, including undetected medical conditions or anything like that that could pop up. And again, I'm not saying I know Damar Hamlin's injury was part of a freak unknown previous condition or something like that. But I'm just saying all those factors are a part of the game. Something that you may want to bury down deep in the back of your head, but it is something that as minute of a chance of happening as it is, can still happen. And clearly it happened last night in Cincinnati between the Bills and the Bengals. Yeah, I have no problem if players don't want to take to the field after this. I mean, you could say like, well, a police force, like if an officer gets killed, was the whole police force supposed to be, not protecting the citizens or whatever? And that's a fair question. I can understand people saying like, hey, if a cop can take back to the streets, a little football player can take back to the field. I can understand the people that feel that way right now. There's a lot of things like, I don't know. I'm not telling you I know which way is right, which way is proper, which way is way we should go. Because no matter what, people are going to be pissed off with what happens. Whether it's more or less than one option than the other doesn't necessarily make it more right or wrong. And I'm just a fan of the game at the end of things here, man. I don't know. I'm just here to talk to you. This is just kind of a catharsis for me to talk about this. Because like I'm shook as a fan of the NFL right now. You know? I'm not upset that the season could be lost or anything like that. I'm shook as a fan saying like, damn man, I like to kid myself into thinking something this bad can't happen. Like, I like to live in the fantasy that, enough precautions are taking place that something on a routine tackle just, can't end up this bad. And now, those blinders are ripped off saying like, no, you're a fool. This absolutely could happen and it did happen. Anyway, just wanted to talk about it, you know? And the people that don't understand, that just want to throw shade on football, saying like barbarians live in a barbaric life, and that's what they get, and whatever. I don't know what people are gonna say because to be fair, I haven't seen anything but anyone showing nothing but love and respect to this. There might be a few trolling assholes out there, but uh, as a fan, this shook me. This absolutely shook me. And I wish things could have been taken differently. But again, in hindsight, everything is 2020. But actually, I wasn't speaking in hindsight last night. People like me were making statements right away saying how this game should have been stopped immediately. There's no decision to be made. This decision was made. When they gave CPR to a player at the 50-yard line, that's when the decision was made. You can't even consider putting guys out there on the field to continue some stupid little game last night. At the end of the day, that's all it is. It's a stupid little game. It may be too harsh to call it stupid, but comparative to a guy's human life, yes, it's a stupid little game. And this is a hardcore NFL fan telling you that. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's personally healthy to talk about what should happen from here on out. Honestly, my dream scenario is that the Bills win the Super Bowl. I don't care if it's over the Eagles at this point. My dream scenario is seeing the Bills win their first Super Bowl. And for Damar Hamlin to be physically well enough to be there to witness it. Am I an asshole for thinking about the game? I don't know. You tell me. That is all.